Hi and welcome to the Crochet Circle. In this tutorial we're going to be learning how to make this bodysuit. And for this tutorial I'll be crocheting at the beach. For this project I'm going to be using a 4-ply cotton yarn and a 3mm hook. So to begin I will create a slip knot and put my crochet hook through the slip knot. Now I will begin chaining out 13. And this chain of 13 is going to be the very bottom of our bodysuit, and we're going to be working our way up. Once I have chained 13, I'm going to chain one more. Then I'm going to put my crochet hook through the 13th chain and bring my yarn through. Now I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to bring my yarn through those 2 loops, and that will be a single crochet. So I'm going to be placing 1 single crochet in each chain going along this row. So I'm going to have 13 single crochets total, or 13 stitches total in the end. So to begin my new row, I will chain 1 and turn my work. Then I'm going to be placing 1 single crochet in the very first stitch of the row. And I like to take my loose end and bring it in the middle of my stitch so I can work it in and not have to sew it in later. I'm just going to be placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. And at the end of row 2, you want to have 13 stitches. Now for row 3 all the way to row 11, we will be repeating the pattern of chaining 1 and turning, then placing 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, and continuing to place 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. At the end of each row you want to have 13 stitches total. So go ahead and continue working on row 3 and go all the way up to row 11. And once I complete row 11, I will be back to show you how to do row 12. I just completed row 11 and now I'm ready to start row 12. So for row 12 I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will be placing 1 increase in the first stitch of the row. So I'm placing 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now I'm going to be placing 1 single crochet in the next 11 stitches. I will be placing an increase in the last stitch of the row, so I'm placing 2 single crochets in the last stitch. And at the end of this row I have 15 stitches total. So to begin my new row, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row and continue placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. At the end of the row I will have 15 stitches total. Now I will be repeating that row one more time. So to begin I will chain 1 and turn, then I'll be placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. And at the end of this row I will still have 15 stitches total. So that will be the pattern for going all the way up to row 36. So right now I just completed row 14 and I'm beginning row 15. So I'm going to do 1 increase row. So I'm placing 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then going along the row placing 1 single crochet in each stitch. When I reach the last stitch, I'm going to place 2 single crochets in it as an increase. Now to begin my new row, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will be placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. And I will do the same pattern for the next row. So I will just be placing 1 single crochet in each stitch for this row and the row after. And I always begin each row by chaining 1 and turning. So that will be the pattern for a while, all the way until you reach row 36. So next you just chain 1, turn, place an increase row, then place 2 regular rows of 1 single crochet in each stitch. And you want to continue this pattern all the way up till you have completed row 36. So row 36 is going to be your last row of 1 single crochet in each stitch. So this is how your piece should look. And now I will show you how to begin row 37. So to begin, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place an increase in the first and last stitch of the row. So I'm placing 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now I will place 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row until I reach the last stitch. When I reach the last stitch, I'm going to place 2 single crochets in it. Now to begin row 38, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. Now to begin my new row, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place 2 single crochets in the first stitch of the row, and that will be my increase. Now I will place 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row until I reach the last stitch. So once I reach the last stitch, I'm going to place 2 single crochets in it. Now to begin my next row, I will chain 1 and turn, and then place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, and continue placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way along this row. Now when I reach the last stitch, I'm going to place my last single crochet in it, and that will complete my row. So that's going to be the pattern for a while, going all the way until your piece reaches from hip to hip on the front. So you just want to place 1 increase row, then after your increase row, place 1 regular row, and continue repeating that by placing an increase row, then a regular row, all the way until your piece reaches from hip to hip. For me, I completed row 59. And one last note, make sure that when you're completing your increase row, you put an increase in the first and the last stitch of the row. So this is how my piece looks like after I've worked in all the way up to row 59. And when I put this up to my body now, it reaches from hip to hip on the front side. And it measures 17 inches. So when you're increasing is the point where you're going to customize it to your own body. So put it up to your body or whoever you're making it for, and make sure that it reaches from hip to hip. You may have less rows than me or more, but the pattern is going to be the same after. So once I have it to the desired width, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will be placing 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, and I will continue placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way along this row. And when I reach the last stitch, I'm going to place 1 single crochet in it. Now I will begin my row by chaining 1 and turning. And I will be placing 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row. Now I will be repeating the same pattern for the next 5 rows. So I will begin the row by chaining 1 and turning. Then I will place 1 single crochet in each stitch going along this row, and for 4 more rows after I complete this one. So the pattern for these rows is just 1 regular row. Just place 1 single crochet in each stitch, and make sure you begin the row by chaining 1 and turning. This is how my bodysuit looks once I completed those rows of 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now I'm ready to begin my new row, so I will chain 2, then I will turn and begin working in double crochets for this row. So to work a double crochet, you wrap the yarn around your hook, then you go through your stitch. Now you want to pull your yarn through and pull your yarn through the first 2 loops on your hook, Now you have 2 loops left, and you want to pull your yarn through those 2 loops, and that is a double crochet. So you want to place 1 double crochet into the next 14 stitches. So it doesn't matter how wide you made your bodysuit to fit your body, just place 1 double crochet into the next 14 stitches, and when you count that very first double crochet you made, you're going to have a total of 15 double crochets. Now I'm working in my last double crochet, and I will chain 3. Now I'm going to skip 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, and I will place a double crochet into the 4th stitch. So wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the 4th stitch, and complete a double crochet. Next, I will continue placing 1 double crochet going along this row until I reach the 19th to last stitch. So you can easily find where the 19th to last stitch is by going to the other side of your piece, you know, the direction where we're working in now, and count back 19 stitches. And that is where your last double crochet is going to go. Another way of figuring out where your 19th to last stitch is where your left hand is, that's where the end of our row is. So just look at the last stitch, count to the 19th one, and I already placed my double crochet in it. So to continue, I will chain 3, then I will skip 3 stitches and place a double crochet into the 4th. Now I'm going to continue placing 1 double crochet into the remaining 14 stitches. So now we're going to begin tapering off at the waist, and so the next row is going to be a decrease row. So to decrease, we're going to first off start by chaining 2. Then we can turn our work, and you wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the stitch, the very first stitch of the row. Then you want to bring your yarn through the very first 2 loops. And now you have 2 loops on your hook, so you wrap the yarn around your hook again and you go through the second stitch, and then you pull your yarn through the first 2 loops. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you just pull your yarn through all 3, and that's a decrease. Now we're just going to place 1 regular double crochet through the following stitches until we reach this chain 3. So once I reach this chain 3, I'm just going to chain 3. And I will place 1 double crochet in this top of this double crochet. So wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the stitch, and complete a double crochet. And then just continue placing 1 double crochet in each of these double crochets until you reach this chain 3 again. Okay, so I've reached the next chain 3, so now I'm going to chain 3. and prepare for a double crochet, and then go into this first double crochet after this chain 3. And continue placing 1 double crochet until the 3rd to last stitch, because we are going to be decreasing over the next the last 2 stitches. So now I have 2 stitches left in this row, and I'm going to decrease in these last 2 stitches. So wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, then wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the last stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, and pull through all 3 loops. So now I'm going to do another decrease row right after this one. So just chain 2, turn your work, wrap the yarn around your hook, and go through the first stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, wrap the yarn around your hook and go through the second stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, and then pull through all 3 loops. Now I'm just going to continue placing 1 double crochet in each double crochet stitch, and then I will do this chain 3. Okay, so now when you reach the chain 3, go ahead and chain 3. Wrap the yarn around your hook and go through the next stitch. Then continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch, going all the way along this row until you reach the next chain 3 space. So once you reach the chain 3, go ahead and chain 3 and place a double crochet in the next double crochet after the chain 3 from the previous row. And now continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the last 2 stitches of the row, which are these 2 right here. Okay, so I've reached the last 2 stitches of the row, and as you can see, there's 1 double crochet right here and a double crochet right here, and then this is our decrease stitch, so it just looks like a really big stitch, but these are the last 2 of the row, and so I'm just going to decrease over them. So wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the second to last stitch, go through the first 2 loops, wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the last stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, and pull through the last 3. So for this next part, you get to customize it to your own body. So I have kind of a long torso. I don't have long legs, but I do have a long torso. So I'm going to continue decreasing in the same pattern for the next 2 rows, and that will take my piece to, when I put it up to my body, it reaches where the beginning of my ribs are. So definitely put it up to your body, see where it reaches, and continue working these decrease rows until it reaches the very bottom or very beginning of your rib cage. So yes, like I said, I will be continuing this pattern for 2 more rows, and just we'll work on the next part together once we have our piece to the beginning of our ribs. So continuing along, I'm going to chain 2 and turn, then I will place a decrease over the first 2 stitches of the row. Now I will continue mirroring the previous row by placing 1 double crochet where I see a double crochet stitch. Then when I reach my chain 3, I'm going to mirror it by chaining 3, then placing a double crochet into the stitch after the chain 3, and make sure to decrease over the last 2 stitches of the row. I'm going to skip forward to the point where I have finished these 2 rows. And you can go ahead and continue these rows until it reaches the beginning of your rib cage. And once you are at that point, the next step is going to be the same for everyone. Now if I put this up to my body, it reaches the very beginning of my ribs, maybe going over my first 2 ribs. So now I will start my new row, and this will be the same for everyone no matter how your piece is. So I will chain 1 and turn, then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, then I will chain 2, and I will skip 2 stitches and place a single crochet into the third. So that will be the pattern going all the way along this row. I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches and place a single crochet into the third. Then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and place a single crochet into the third. And I'm running out of yarn, so I'm going to show you how to seamlessly attach a new ball of yarn to your work. So go into this third stitch preparing for a single crochet. So I'm just going to put my hook straight through the stitch, bring my yarn through, and when I have 2 loops on my hook, before I complete the single crochet, I'm going to grab my new ball of yarn. So this is the end of my new ball of yarn, and I'm just going to pull it through like I'm completing a single crochet with it. Okay. So now I have this loose string and the old string that I was just working on but ran out of yarn. So I'm going to just tie these 2 together with a double knot to secure them. So that was one single knot. Now I'm just going to tie a double knot. Okay, now I'm ready to continue my work. So I'm going to chain 2. Now I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and since I'm in this chain area, I'm just going to count each of these chains as a stitch. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, and then place a single crochet into the 3rd. So I'm just going to put my crochet hook right through that 3rd, which happens to be the very middle of that chain 3. Then to hide my loose strands, I'm going to take them and place them over my crochet hook, and then I will complete my single crochet. Now I will chain 2, and I will skip 2 stitches and go into the 3rd with a single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then I will chain 2, skip 2, go into the 3rd. So this will be the pattern, and I'm just going to continue doing the same steps for the remainder of this row. Now I will be repeating that pattern for 2 more rows. So to begin, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row. Now I will chain 2 and place 1 single crochet into the next single crochet after skipping that chain 2. So next I will chain 2, skip that chain 2, and place 1 single crochet into the next single crochet. So that's going to be the pattern going along this row, and I will be repeating this for 1 more row. So my last single crochet is going to go in the last stitch of the row. Now we will be working 1 more row of this chain pattern. So to begin, I will chain 1 and turn. Then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row. And I will chain 2. Skip the next chain 2 and place a single crochet into the next single crochet. Chain 2, skip the next chain 2 and place a single crochet in the next single crochet. So that's going to be the pattern going all the way along this row. So I just completed my 3rd row of this chain 2 sequence. So now I'm ready to do the flower cutout, and to do so we're going to start by chaining 3. Then turn your work. You want to wrap the yarn around your hook and complete a double crochet in this single crochet right here. So we have this single crochet for 2nd, and we want to go into the 3rd. So complete your double crochet. Then you want to chain 3. chain 3, and place a double crochet in the very same stitch where I placed the last one. Then I will chain 3 and place one more double crochet in that stitch. Now I'm ready to move on to my next flower, so I'm going to skip this single crochet and go into the second one with a double crochet. Then I will chain 3 and place a double crochet in the same stitch. I will chain 3 one more time and place a double crochet in the same stitch. So now I have 3 double crochets coming out of that stitch, and I'm ready to move on. So skip this one and go into the second single crochet. Chain 3, place a double crochet, chain 3, and place one more double crochet. So after placing our last flower, there is just this chain 2 and 1 single crochet left. So to end this row, I'm just going to place 1 double crochet at the top of this single crochet from the last row. So just wrap the yarn around your hook, go through the last stitch, and complete a double crochet. So for the next row, I'm going to chain 6 to begin the row. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I will turn my work and I will be placing 1 single crochet at the very top of this middle double crochet. So right over here, the very middle of our flower pattern, I will be placing a single crochet. Now I will chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I will be placing a single crochet at the top of the next flower pattern, so this double crochet. So I'm basically for this row just placing a single crochet at the very middle double crochet of our flower pattern, and then I will be spacing these out by chaining 5. So right here I have a chain 5, now I will single crochet, then I will chain 5 and place a single crochet at the top of the next middle double crochet, then I will chain 5 and place a single crochet at the top the next flower petal. So to end this row, I will chain 2 and place a double crochet at the top of this chain 3. Okay, so next I will be placing another flower pattern row. So to begin that, I will chain 3, then I will turn my work, and I will wrap the yarn around my hook and place a double crochet at this first double crochet right here, above the middle of the last petal we made. Now I will chain 3 and place a double crochet into the same stitch. Then I will chain 3 and place one more double crochet in the same stitch. Now I'm going to go directly into the top of this next single crochet at the top of this middle petal, and I will just place one double crochet in it. Then I will chain 3 and place one double crochet in the same stitch. And then I will chain 3 and place one more double crochet in the same stitch. Now I'm ready for the next flower petal, so I'm just going to go directly into this next one with a double crochet. Then I will chain 3 and go into the same stitch, chain 3 and go into the same stitch. Okay, so I'll just be completing this for the rest of the row. This is what the flower pattern should look like. And you just want to do the same thing going all the way along this row. So now to complete this row, right here I have this chain of 6. So I want to count 3 chains up, and that is where I will place a double crochet. So a 1, 2, 3, place a double crochet right there to end the row. There you go. And now I want to begin my new row by chaining 6. I will turn my work. Then I will place a single crochet at the top of this flower in the very middle double crochet. Now I will chain 5, and I will be placing a single crochet at the top of the next middle double crochet. Then I will chain 5 and place a single crochet at the top of this middle double crochet. And I will continue to do this all the way along the row. I'm chaining 5 and placing a single crochet in the very top of this middle double crochet. Now I will chain 2 and place a double crochet into the top of this chain 3 right here. So 1, 2, 3, right there. Now I will be repeating that chain 2 pattern for the next 3 rows. So to begin, I will chain 1 and turn, then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches, which will take me to that first single crochet from the previous row above the middle of the flower. So then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches, or in this case chains, and I will place a single crochet through the third. Then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches or chains, and place a single crochet through the third. So this will be the pattern going all the way along this row. As I reach the end of the row, my last single crochet is going to go into that third chain from that initial chain 6 from the previous row. So that's how your row is going to end, and I will be repeating this chain 2 sequence for 2 more rows. Now to begin, I will chain 1 and turn, then I will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch of the row, then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches or that chain 2, and place a single crochet into the third, then I will chain 2, skip 2, place a single crochet into the third. So that is going to be the pattern going along this row up until the end and the row after. And each row begins by chaining 1 and turning. Then place a single crochet in the first row of the stitch, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and place a single crochet into the third, chain 2, skip 2, place a single crochet in the third, and continue this pattern up until the end of this row, and I'll show you how to begin the next part after. So now if you count all of the flowers on my piece, you can see that I have 8. Since it's an even number, I'm working in the very middle of the 2 center flowers, but if you had an odd number, then you work around the center flower. So the first row of my first cup is going to end at the very center of that 4th flower. Now to begin my first row from the cup, I will chain 2 and turn. Then I will be placing 1 double crochet in the first stitch of the row. Then I will continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch, and each chain counts as a stitch. So I'll be placing 1 double crochet into the next 21 stitches, and at the end of my first cup row I will have a total of 22 double crochets. And if you put it up to your body, don't worry that it doesn't have too much coverage yet, because I'm going to be adding an extra edging of a flower pattern, and that will increase the coverage on the top of your bodysuit. So as you can see, my cup row has ended at the very center of the 4th flower from the middle, and I'm only counting the 4th flower because I have 8 flowers, so 8 divided by 2 is 4, and at the end of my first cup row I have 22 double crochets total. So to begin my second row, I will chain 2, then turn. I will be placing a double crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. So prepare for a double crochet and go through the first stitch, then pull through the first 2 loops, and before completing your double crochet, prepare for another one and go through the second stitch. Now pull your yarn through the first 2 loops, and you have 3 loops left on your hook. So just pull your yarn through the remaining 3 loops, and that is a double crochet decrease. Now continue placing 1 double crochet into each stitch going along this row until you reach your last 2 stitches. So I just completed placing 1 double crochet in each stitch, and now all I have left are 2 stitches for this row, and I will be double crochet decreasing over the last 2 stitches. To begin, prepare for a double crochet. Go through the first 2 loops. Before completing that, wrap the yarn around your hook again and go through the last stitch. Pull through the first 2 loops. You have 3 loops left on your hook. Now pull through all 3, and that is your double crochet decrease. So continuing this pattern, I will chain 2 to begin my row. Then I will turn and place a double crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. Now I will continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch going along this row until I reach the last 2 stitches. Now when I reach the last 2 stitches, you can see there's 2 stitches there, the double crochet and the double crochet decrease from the previous row. So I will be placing a double crochet decrease over the last 2 stitches. And that will complete my row, and I will just be repeating this pattern going all the way up until I only have 2 double crochet decreases left for the row. So always begin the row by chaining 2 and placing a double crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. Then continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch going along the row until you reach the last 2 stitches. Now that I've reached the last 2, I'm going to place my last decrease in that space. Now I will be repeating this pattern. For my piece it was for 7 additional rows. So you always repeat the same steps by chaining 2, decreasing in the first 2 stitches, and decreasing in the last 2 stitches. So after I have completed 7 more rows, including this one that I'm working on, I will only have 2 decreases left for my last row. So continue placing this pattern all the way up until your cup has decreased into a triangle shape. You may need to work on more than 7 rows if your cup piece is bigger, but the whole point is to get it to being where you only have 2 decreases left in the row. So technically 2 stitches left. So I skipped forward to my last row, and I'm just going to be decreasing over the first 2 stitches. Now I only have 2 stitches left on my row, so I'm going to be decreasing over the last 2. And with that, my cut piece is complete. So in order to detach my yarn, I will chain 1 to create a knot, pull it tight, and snip it right there. So now I'm ready to begin my next cut piece. So I'm going to mirror the other cup and attach my yarn into the same place as the other cup ends, which on my piece is the top of the middle petal from one of the middle flowers. And the only thing you would be doing different is if you have an odd number of flowers, then you would just be working on the opposite side of the flower. So once your yarn is attached with a double knot, you bring your yarn through and chain 1 to secure it. Now you want to chain 2 to begin your row. Now just place 1 double crochet in the first stitch where your chain 2 is coming out of, and that's going to count as your first stitch. And I like to bring my yarn through so I don't have to sew it in later. Now continue placing 1 double crochet until you reach the end of this row. And again, for this cup, I will have a total of 22 double crochets for my first row. So I'm just mirroring the last cup. To begin my second row, I will chain 2, then I will turn and place a double crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. Now I will place 1 double crochet in each of the next stitches until I reach the last 2 of the row. Now that I've reached the last 2 of the row, I'm going to place a double crochet decrease over them. Now I will just be repeating this pattern until my cup matches my other cup. So you always begin the row by chaining 2, then you turn and you place a double crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. Then continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the last 2. That's where your next double crochet decrease will go. So continue repeating this pattern until you only have your last row of 2 double crochet decreases. So this is how your piece should look once you have completed 2 equal cups. And now I'm going to begin the edging. So I'm going to attach my yarn at the very first row of that chain 2 sequence. So I'm going to put my crochet hook through the very first single crochet of the first chain 2 row, and that's where I'm going to attach a double knot. Once my yarn is secured, I'm going to put my crochet hook through that space, bring my yarn through, and chain 1 to secure it. Now I will start the row by chaining 1, then I will place 1 single crochet into the very same space where my chain is coming out of. Okay, so to begin the next part of my pattern, I will chain 2, then I will skip 2 stitches and place a single crochet into the third. Then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and place a single crochet into the third. So at this point, there's not really an exact stitch marker. You're just going to eyeball it and do your best. So chain 2, skip 2, and place a single crochet into the third. So you want to continue that pattern by chaining 2, skipping 2, and placing a single crochet in the third. And it gets way easier once you reach the rows of double crochets. So now that I've reached the rows of double crochets, I'm going to repeat the same pattern, but instead of skipping 2 stitches, I'm going to just go into the next row of double crochets. Because technically a double crochet is as long as 2 chains. So I'm chaining 2, skipping 2 by skipping the double crochet and going into the beginning of the next row. So now I'm reaching the very top of my cut piece, and if you remember, our cut piece has 2 stitches because it has 2 decreases. So to round around the top, I'm going to chain 2, then I will place my single crochet into the second stitch of the top row. Now I will chain 2 and repeat my pattern going all the way along until I reach the bottom of this cup in the middle of my bodysuit, almost beginning at my next cup. So I'll show you how to round the middle once we get there. So now that I've reached the middle of my bodysuit, I'm going to chain 2. Then my single crochet will go directly into that middle single crochet between the 2 chain 2 spaces. Next I will chain 2, then skip 2 stitches and place a single crochet into the very beginning of my next cup. Now I will be repeating the pattern, going all the way along this cup by chaining 2, skipping 2 stitches, and placing a single crochet into the 3rd. So chain 2, skip 2 stitches, which takes you to the next row of double crochets. So continue to repeat this pattern, and again I will show you how to round the very top of this cut piece. So as I reach the top of my cup, I'm going to place a single crochet at the first stitch of the last row. And then I will chain 2 and place a single crochet into the second stitch. And I'm doing it this way so that I can prepare for a strap at the top right there. So now I'm just going to continue the pattern of chaining 2, skipping 2 stitches, and placing a single crochet into the 3rd. So my edging row will be complete once I chain 2 and place my last single crochet at the beginning of that chain sequence. So the first row of chains, place a single crochet where that single crochet from that first row of chains is. And if you look at your piece on the opposite side, the row begins at the same place that the row ends. So now my next row of edging will begin by chaining 1. Then I will turn, place a single crochet into the first stitch of the row where that chain 1 is coming out of. Then I will chain 2, skip 2 stitches or the chain 2, and place a single crochet into the 3rd. So I'm going to be mirroring the previous row, going all the way along the top of our bodysuit. So just chain 2, skip 2, and place a single crochet in the 3rd. When you reach the top, continue the pattern by chaining 2 and placing a single crochet after skipping 2. Now as you reach the very middle of your bodysuit, continue the pattern. Again, I'm just chaining 2, placing a single crochet into that very middle single crochet from the bodysuit. Then I will chain 2, place a single crochet into the beginning of the next cup, and continue the pattern all the way until I reach the end of my edging row. So I just finished the second round of edging, and all I did was continue working all the way along the side, placing 1 single crochet and the chain 2, and I just finished right there at the very first row of the chain 2. So now I'm ready to begin on my flower cutout pattern. So to begin, I will chain 3 and turn my work. So I'm going to be skipping over to the second single crochet after the one that my chain 3 is coming out of. So I'm placing a single crochet into that stitch. Now I will chain 3, and place a single crochet into the same stitch that I placed my last single crochet in. Then I will chain 3 and place a single crochet into that same stitch again. And that was my middle petal. So now I'm going to chain 3 and place one last single crochet into that same stitch. So that's what my flower pattern should look like so far. Now I'm going to skip over to the second single crochet and place a single crochet directly in it. So now I will chain 3 and place a single crochet into the same stitch, chain 3, and place one more single crochet into that same stitch. So now I'm going to skip over to the second single crochet from the previous row and go directly in it by placing a single crochet. Then I will chain 3 and place a single crochet. And a quick note, the second single crochet is the middle of your petal. So now I will chain 3 and place one more single crochet into that same stitch. So that is the flower pattern. I'm just going to be repeating that on the very outside of my cup. So continue the pattern of skipping over to the second single crochet and place a single crochet in it. Then chain 3, place a single crochet into the same stitch, chain 3, and place one more single crochet into that stitch. Now as I reach the top of my cup, this is where my flower pattern is going to end. So I'm placing my last flower pattern right there near the top. So now I'm just going to be repeating that chain 2 pattern going all the way down the other side of the cup, because I only want the flower cut out right there on that side.
I've completely gone with the flower pattern going all the way along the side of my front piece, and now I'm at the very top of my cup. So I don't want to have the flower pattern on the inside of my cup, because I'm just trying to create more space on the outside. So when I get to the inside of the cup, I'm just going to continue the same edging pattern. So I'm going to chain 2 and place a single crochet into the next single crochet. And I will continue this pattern until I get to the second to last single crochet going along this cut. So as you can see, what I have in the middle is 2 chain 2 spaces. Now I have 1 chain 2 space left on this cup, and I just placed a single crochet in that last single crochet. So I'm just going to chain 2 here, and I will skip this last single crochet of the cup and go directly into this middle single crochet in between this chain 2 space. Now I will chain 2, and I will skip this single crochet of this beginning of the cup on the other side and go directly into the second one. Now I will continue the chain 2 and place 1 single crochet along the side of this cup, and I will stop once I reach the top. So my last chain 2 is going to go above the very top of the cup where this chain 2 is, because that's where my strap is going to be. So I'm placing a single crochet into that first single crochet right here at the top of my cup. And I did the same thing on this side. As you can see, the flower pattern begins towards the outside of the cup. So now I'm going to begin the flower pattern going alongside this outskirt of the cup all the way until I reach this bottom of these chain sequences. I'll show you. So my first flower is going to begin right here. I'm just going to take my crochet hook and place it through the very next single crochet. Then I will place a single crochet, chain 3, then I'll place another single crochet in that same stitch, chain 3 one more time, and place 1 more single crochet in that same stitch. That's my first flower.
So continue to repeat that pattern going along this side of your bodysuit. Skip over to the second single crochet and place 1 single crochet in it, then chain 3. Place another single crochet into that same stitch, chain 3, place 1 more single crochet in that same stitch. Now the pattern will be the same from here. Skip over to the second single crochet from the previous row and place your flower in there. And I will be repeating this all the way until the end of my edging row, so I'm going to just skip forward towards the end of my edging row.
So as you can see, I only have two chains left. This one right here and this one right here, and there's also just 2 single crochets left from that last row of edging. So what I'm gonna do is just finish this row by placing a single crochet into this last stitch. Now I'm going to add a single crochet edging just around this double crochet row and this bottom part, and I will go all the way around until I reach this flower pattern on the other side, on the other cup.
In other words, I'm just adding one single crochet going along the bottom of my bodysuit.
This single crochet edging is going to make it way easier to put the front piece and the back piece together when we sew them together. So not only does it make it look neater and just more perfect, it's also going to make it easier later on. So I finished going all the way down with single crochets, and now I've reached a corner. So when I reach a corner, I'm just going to place one single crochet in the very corner stitch. Then I will chain 2 and place one single crochet in the same corner stitch, and that'll bring me along to this side, and I'll do the same thing in this corner as well. So this next part is going to be optional. I know you can just sew the bottom of your bodysuit together, but every time you have to go to the bathroom, you're going to have to take it off all the way from the top. So I'm going to add a button to mine so I can, just put it on with a button at the bottom. So when I get to the middle of here, actually I'm going to add 2 buttons. So I'm going to add a buttonhole right here and a buttonhole right here. So basically just, 2 buttonholes. It's not perfectly spaced out. So to do so, I'm going to place a single crochet until I reach the space where I want a buttonhole. So I placed 3 single crochets. Now I'm going to create a chain that is long enough to fit my button. I don't have my button with me now, so I'm going to estimate, but if you have a button at home, I would recommend that you make your hole and then try to run your button through before you finish, just to make sure that you're creating the right size buttonhole. But I'm just going to chain I chained 9. So that's how big my buttonhole is going to be. It looks bigger on camera, but it's really not that big. It's about the size of a nickel. So I chained 9, and now I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch that my chain is coming out of. Now that will close my hole. So I'm going to continue placing one single crochet along this edge until I reach reach the space where I want my next buttonhole. And like I said, this was optional. If you want to sew yours together, go ahead and just place one single crochet going along this edge and just skip the buttonholes. Okay, so I placed 4 single crochets. Now I'm ready for another buttonhole. I'm going to chain 9. Then I will place a single crochet in the same stitch that my chain 9 is coming out of. Now I'm just going to continue placing a single crochet until I reach the corner stitch. Okay, so I'm placing 1 single crochet in the corner stitch. Then I will chain 2. Place 1 more single crochet in the same corner stitch. Now I am going to place 1 single crochet going along this side all the way to the top after this double crochet row, basically up until I reach my flower pattern. So I finished going all the way along this side with 1 single crochet, and I finished placing 1 single crochet at the top of this double crochet row, and right now I have reached this chain row. So I'm going to be placing 1 single crochet into this very first chain sequence right where the flower pattern begins. So after placing 1 single crochet, I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to take my crochet hook and place it directly into this middle single crochet. So if you look closely, you can see 1, 2, and 3 single crochets coming out of this stitch. That's the flower pattern. So I'm going to be placing my next single crochet in the very middle of that. So that's right there. Now I will chain 5. And I will place a single crochet into the next middle single crochet of the next flower pattern. So this was the last flower pattern. Here's the next one. The single crochet that is in the middle is this one right here. Then I will chain 5. My next single crochet will go into the top of my next flower, so right over there. Then I will chain 5. And place a single crochet into the next flower, into the middle single crochet. Then I will chain 5. So that's the pattern. I'm placing a single crochet, then I am chaining 5. the flower edging looks like. And I've reached the top part where my strap is going to go, so I'm just going to chain 2. Then I will place a single crochet into the next single crochet. So this is the flower pattern. I have this chain 2 and a single crochet, so I'm going to go into this stitch right here. Then I will chain 2 and place a single crochet after the next single crochet. So just skip this chain 2 and place a single crochet. Now follow this edging pattern all the way along this side of the cup and stop once you get to this second to last single crochet. So I'm going all the way until here. There's this chain and then I'm stopping right there. Okay. So now if I hold my cup or my piece up, I just placed my last single crochet right here. Now I have a chain 2, then I have this chain 2, middle single crochet and a chain 2. So what I'm going to do is chain 2 and go directly into this middle single crochet. With a single crochet. Now I will chain 2 and you see how I skipped this one, on this chain 2, and I will go directly into this single crochet right here. So here's what it looks like when I hold it up. Now continue placing a chain 2 and a single crochet going along this side. Okay. So I just placed my last single crochet before reaching this flower pattern on this cup, and now I will chain 5 and I will place a single crochet into the top of the middle single crochet of this flower pattern. Then I will chain 5 and place a single crochet into the top of the middle single crochet of the next flower. I just placed my last single crochet in the last flower, so now I will chain 6
So we will complete our edging pattern by slip stitching into the single crochet from the very beginning of our flower pattern right there. So to slip stitch, you just pull your yarn all the way through. Now to finish off my piece, I will chain one, pull it tight, and snip it. And with us completing the front piece, that will complete part 1. So make sure to check out part 2 to finish the rest of this bodysuit. And thanks for watching and joining my crochet circle.